Good morning, St. Steph.
Good morning, Dr. JZ.
What's going on?
Good morning. Oh my goodness. So much going on. So much going on. I woke up. The sun is shining. Oh my gosh. It's so great. It's so great to be alive and awake and alert.
Right?
And clearly had some coffee.
I got my no drama llama cup.
Yes.
Coffee.
How's things going over there?
Things are going swimmingly. You never hear that, do you?
I do hear that, actually. That's in my circle.
I love that.
I am going to make sure I'm just going to click some shares. I'm going to go here, click in a group, click. Next post. Yeah, just shared it.
Love that.
Yeah, here we go. So we are here to have some radically affirmative new thoughts.
That's what we do.
We're so grateful that you're here. If you are watching, let us know you're watching. Hit those loves, those likes, those shares, all those good buttons everywhere you are, because I think YouTube now you can click shares. And of course, let us know in the comments that you are here, that you have thoughts you want to share with us, and all of that good stuff. Yes. We love being here with you to have radically affirmative new thoughts together.
Yeah. So what is radically affirmative new thought?
It's radical. It's radical. It's something beyond what we're used to and are comfortable with. It's seeking answers outside of the familiar, because for me, oh my God, I'm done with the status quo. Like just living in let's all stand in a straight line and make sure that our shoes are tied and our buttons are up. Like, no. Let's make sure we're feeling the earth with our feet and our minds. And just having a new experience for ourselves. We don't have to live in some sort of chaotic atmosphere. Even if that's what it looks like, we have the power within us. And living our authentic selves. Oh my God, that's a radical.
Yeah,
that's a radical thing. Being authentic, being real, being candid, being true. Radical.
Yeah, on Sunday, this past Sunday, in my message, the theme for our community this month is integrity, and I talked about integrity. One aspect of living in integrity is to truly live authentically, and to go on the what is it that is authentic about you, and how are you sharing that with the world? And then I joke because I'm pretty gregarious on stage. I don't know if you know that about me. Yeah. And I say, that is authentically who I am. Like I tell people I'm just as wacko off the platform on a Sunday as I am on the platform on a Sunday. Like you get who I am. Yeah.
There should be no difference when oh my God, I'm prepping again this class, right? The 4 agreements, being impeccable with your word is that everywhere I go, anyone I'm having a conversation with gets me. Gets who I am. I am like behind closed doors. This is still crazy person happening. This is joy and peace. These are the things that drive me. And absolutely, authenticity it's radical.
Yeah.
And who you are to one person is who you are to everyone. And I've gotten pushback on that. And I think that if that's true for people, if you're being different for this person and being somebody different for somebody else, who are you? Who's the true you?
Right. Now there's a caveat to this though that I want to put out there.
Yeah.
And that is there's wisdom in understanding also that we actually have 3 different lives in the way that we interact. And this has actually been very beneficial to me, because in some ways as ministers, as people who are like putting themselves on a platform, and let's face it, I am putting myself on a platform by being in ministry, whether I have a pulpit or not. in ministry, I've put myself on a platform, and I do differentiate between my private life, my personal life, and my public life. Think about that. It's not that I'm inauthentic in my public life, but there are aspects of my private life that you will never see
For sure.
in my public life. And that's also important to maintain those healthy boundaries. Right?
Yes, healthy boundaries. And that's those are the edges, right, of those three categories for sure. But our core humanness, you know, like I'm not pleasant like for certain people and then an asshole to someone else. That's what I mean. Like your core self. I was just thinking about this yesterday that, you know, my inner circle is quite small. And so my inner circle are the people who see the most of me, but they don't see anything different than the people who I'm professionally supporting, like the essence of me. But yes, the information or knowledge they have about my personhood is definitely elevated compared to someone I spend an hour with on Sundays in a community.
Yeah. Oh, well, I want to say hi to people. So Wayne's saying hi. Hi, Wayne. Grateful to see you this glorious day. Anna, hello, listening while getting ready to drive. Anna, grateful. Anna is a beautiful musician and will be actually our musical guest this Sunday here at Unity of Tucson. Nice. I'm always delighted when Anna joins us. Yay! And a member of this community as well. So
perfect. Yes, absolutely. So, shine your light. Shine your light.
So what is coming up for you out there? We got a few people watching. What has sparked in you today in a radically affirmative new thought kind of way that perhaps you would like us to comment on, or, you know, just put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there. Bring it up. I always love that, you know, the brave ones. The brave ones who ask questions, the brave ones who put the comments in, the brave ones, because there's always your courage to ask difficult questions is supporting everyone who's on the cusp of asking difficult questions, or everyone who just can't muster the courage themselves to ask questions. I know that every time I'm asked a question or a thought that in a space, I know there's more than that person who's receiving its wisdom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So power up, you guys, power up. What are you working on? I mean, that comes down to a lot of the consciousness of spiritual bypass for me, or toxic positivity, when we don't want to share what it is we're deeply working on, because, you know, new thoughters are going to look at us differently, or you know, our people in our churches and our centers and our communities are going to look at us differently because we're struggling, or we have, you know, pain or suffering that would be healed if just in our sharing of it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I'm constantly saying God is in the sticky and the sweet, and that we're here for all of it. The good stuff, sure, we love to celebrate that, but don't hide your wounds if you need help healing them.
Right. There's a thing that happens in communities. I've seen this happen in communities, and I work really hard to ensure my leadership in this community does not ever go down this path. And, you know, and it's seemingly innocuous, but it's not innocuous. But kind of people kind of will kind of flippantly say things that they don't realize are actually really detrimental. And what I mean by that is to say, I have experienced people in spiritual communities that are new thought based, encounter someone who is saying, I'm having a really hard time, or they express some circumstance in their life that is challenging for them. And the response is, well, what's in your consciousness? And I'm like,
I hate that.
It's like that is, that is so detrimental
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, it's steeped in ego and it is steeped in judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be more helpful if you got down off the horse.
Yeah. And, it's like when we understand, like I really endeavor to help people understand that I go through stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
that I get to stand up there. I get to, and I am blessed. I say I am blessed to be able to stand up there on the platform and be able to articulate a message of a philosophy that I have put to work in my life and that helps me enhance the quality of my life. But I go through stuff as well.
Yes.
And the value of this philosophy is not that we think it's going to make everything rosy all the time. It's to say that in the sticky, we know that there's another side to that we don't get ourselves mired in the sticky. Yeah. And that's the value of the New Thought spiritual philosophy for me.
Yeah. And when it's sticky, keep moving forward one step at a time, or you could get stuck.
Yeah.
I love that the saying, like, go through the valley of the shadow of death, but don't build a camp.
Right.
It's to walk through. It's to walk through. It's not to live and submerge yourself. Mm-hmm. It's to walk through. It's to every movement forward, you are building a sacred muscle inside of you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Just hey. Say, hey, Swan, grateful to see you here.
Hey, Swan.
So true. Yes, so true. Right.
Yeah.
My sister and I, we were walking this morning and we were talking about, some aspects of the New Thought movement. She's recently read this book. She was telling me about it. And right off the top of my head, I can't remember what the title of the book is. So don't ask me that. But it was basically somebody talking about, you ready? They were talking about like cult mentality.
Oh, yes, yes.
And interesting because they actually reference New Thought and how there are aspects of it that converge on cult thinking. I was like, I have my own response to that. First of all, they conflate New Thought and New Age. So in some ways, I take it with a grain of salt. They don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to New Thought. That's just my personal assessment. But one of the things that really struck me is I actually, in one respect, do agree with a cult-like phenomenon that happens in New Thought if we are not willing to look at the sticky.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when we verge on what you mentioned before, spiritual bypass or toxic positivity. We've actually gone into sort of a cult mentality because we cannot, when we're in that spiritual bypass state of mind, and that's what we think we have to put forth or know, then we're not moving beyond what we've been told. We're not questioning, and that's why I say there are two reasons why I say we do not qualify as a cult. Number one is because you are at choice to be here, to engage in the philosophy. I say this every single Sunday. I say, the choice is entirely up to you if you want to put this to practice in your life. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to tell you what to think. So you get to decide. I will present the theory. I will present the teachings as I understand them. And the other part of that is to say, there is an encouragement, at least in my community, to question, to be a skeptic, to say, is this true? Part of what I love about the New Thought philosophy is that it has invited me to look at the world as my laboratory and every interaction as an experiment.
Yes. Yep.
And
that's what I love about this philosophy.
And what am I experimenting with? I'm experimenting with love, actually. With how do I engage in unconditional love in every interaction that I have? That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like those are great. The joke comes up for me is that you're at choice here, but if you stay, there's cookies after.
That is true. We do have coffee and cookies, and
coffee and cookies after you stay.
Yeah. Very true. The valley of the shadow of death is a lived experience, not the sum of being.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Ooh, I need to lock my chair.
Lock that
felt
chair.
that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
funny because like as I've already alluded to multiple times in this 15-minute conversation so far, I'm doing a new class on the 4 agreements in person though. And so like in my homework at the end of, in the homework, here's your homework. No, where did it go? It's here. Question your thoughts. Question your perceptions. Notice when you are in the dream or when you are awake. Notice these things. You're like, when I discovered that it's my mind that is the most powerful thing in my life, I spend so much time cleaning it out, clearing it out, wondering, pondering, contemplating, deeply trying to understand awareness and the presence of awareness and how aware I can be, because aware presence is my divine and holy source. I want to know as much as possible. I want to question and understand and chew on things. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what's this? Is that Naomi?
Naomi, yeah. Hi, Naomi.
Clear channel radio equals the goal.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, tell us about that. What comes up for me is like being a clear channel for source to experience. Yeah. And to just be like tuned in, dialing in. I love the like tuning the knobs on the old radios, right? You had to like, you'd find the station and then you'd like fine tune it.
Yeah.
That's it. Clearing out the white noise or the noise that's just around us and finally tuning to hear spirit. I love it. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
When I'm being a clear vessel, I can only hear the true radio station. Absolutely. I've often used the analogy. Actually, I say that I often do, and I actually don't if I really think about it. I don't often use this analogy, but I have used this analogy of saying that we are both transmitters and receivers of spirit. And that if we can really reconsider our beingness on this plane of action from the point of view of that divine identity, it actually does change things dramatically in the quality and experience of my life. Yeah, exactly. Doing my laundry is my responsibility. Yes, it is.
Yes. Love it.
Do your own laundry. Do your own laundry.
Yeah. Now, and yeah, so many, like do a super load, right? Super load.
Yep.
So good. And I love that, like, because that's why I love classes. I'm not going to say I teach them. I facilitate classes and opportunities for introspection. And really, like, that's the beautiful thing about taking classes, being in a room with people. You're at the laundromat and everybody's doing laundry at the same time. So we can, get tips and how, like, I never saw that load before.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have seen that load of laundry there without this conversation. So that's what I love about, our communities, is that yes, we have great Sunday, uplifting Sundays, woo, and then we offer things throughout the week to really do that work, to really, forge the path, tend to the garden, do our laundry. I love it.
Yeah, I always say that I love Sundays. As a minister, that Sundays are like, that's like
cheesecake.
That is like the premium topping on the spiritual Sunday. Literally, it's Sunday, right? But that we get to get up and we get to have a good time. We get to inspire and celebrate and all of that. That's awesome. But if you really want to put the philosophy to work in your life, I think the best place to do that is to engage in a deeper study, to get into a class and to really say, hey, what are the fundamental teachings and how can I put them to practice in my life? And again, entirely a choice. So I don't coerce people into taking classes.
Yeah.
I encourage it, but I don't coerce. Yeah.
Well, and whoa,
what was that?
that was a big truck letting people know it wanted to move forward.
Clearly.
Yeah. In One Love Awakening, we have guiding principles or touchstones. Like we have touchstones, and they come from A Hidden Wholeness by Parker J. Palmer. And in those touchstones, my favorites are firstly, it's how we gather, how we're going to be in this class together, how we're going to be in community together. And one of them is like our rule: no fixing, no advising, no saving, no setting each other straight.
Right.
Like that's not why we're here. That's not why we're gathering. The only work we're doing is in our own consciousness and in clearing out our own lives. And so when we share our stories, it's not to gain feedback of how we can do things better. It's to be in the sharing, to be in the experience, and to like, here's what I've learned about myself. Like Emerson, every time he met with his colleagues, he would say, his greeting was, "What has been made more clear to you since last we spoke?" Mm-hmm. And I love that. Like that's the journey. What has been made, and then deeply enjoy the answer when someone else is talking about their journey. Deeply enjoy that they're willing to share that experience, that intimate experience with us in classes. Like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The honk was confirmation.
Love that.
Yes. Yeah.
Seems like we've become more connected world. We've also become more afraid of being different, thinking different. The broad road is more comforting than the narrow one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think about, it's so funny because I agree. We've become more connected as a world, and yet in some ways it feels so much like we could not be more distant in some of it. But I also don't let that become a detrimental part of my experience of life, because for me, connection. And I'm gonna talk about social media for a minute, because we all know the word out there is, oh, social media is actually a false sense of connection. I'm like, it is. I still engage in it. I still enjoy watching TikTok videos. I will admit, I love watching TikTok videos. I don't perceive that to be my way that I connect to the world. My connection is through other means. But I think you're right. We've become more afraid of being different because it is so readily put out there that if you express your differences, you're going to be berated for that. Mm-hmm. And what I will put forth is to say, be different, be a rebel, because there is no purpose for sitting and trying to be like anyone else. And, comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're comparing yourself to others, let that go. Let that go. I remember early on in my ministry, I used to compare myself, frankly, to my mentor in ministry. And, was I doing it in the way that would be acceptable to them? And like, it's like when I got over that and I just started being, this is really, there was a path to authenticity in my ministry. When I just started being authentically me, like that changed everything for me. And that's, it's not just ministry, that's life. If you are authentic in your life, then that is everything. Yeah. That's everything. Yeah.
I think too, like what came up for me from that last comment is there's a difference between accessible and connection.
Right.
Accessibility and connection are two different things. And so, yes, the world is accessible to us 24/7 now. You want a beverage from a store, there's an app for that. And at 2 a.m, someone will be up and drive that beverage to you. Like the world is accessible. But connection is still found in community. Connection is still found in spiritual practice. Like connection is something different for me than just being accessible. And social media, it makes us accessible, but it doesn't make us connected. Yeah. That's in my thoughts.
There's there's a lot of discussion, and in ministerial circles, we hear this discussion all the time about how the model of the brick and mortar church or spiritual community is a dying paradigm. And like, it will never die because people do want to feel interaction and connection in that way. So that's, but I think the reason that there's a drop off in people's participation in spiritual communities, and I'm talking specifically about church, right? Because this is not what I feel is happening here at Unity of Tucson. I think it's because when the community becomes more concerned with control rather than, and when I mean control, I mean like, you have to follow the guidelines of this philosophical idea, otherwise you are unworthy. Like, that becomes detrimental to people's well-being. And so as spiritual communities, I think the most important thing that we can offer is community.
Yeah.
Like, to find a place to connect. And, we can have discussions about the spiritual philosophy, but for me, it's not really about enforcing a spiritual philosophy.
Yeah.
It's about being it's about having the conversation, and that's what people are attracted to. That's what people are attracted to.
Well, and again, the accessibility of social media and things like that. I mean, we can find community. Mm-hmm. There's a gentleman, a young man here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, who started has an Instagram account and started a meetup of walking around fun areas in the city with cameras. And so like, it's a photography club that he started, and he's like, this is where I'm going to be on this day. Come if you want to. And now he has like 50 or 100 people showing up to just walk around and take pictures together and talk about photography. Like, whatever moves your soul, there's a community for you. There's a community for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be church.
Right? It doesn't. We've got a lot of comments that are coming through, and I don't want them to.
I know, right? Let's hear them.
Had to pull over. Love the idea of do your own laundry. Sometimes a big bulky load. Other times might need an approach with a gentle cycle. Love that.
Yes. Sometimes you need to lift the lid and rearrange.
Yeah, I think about like that gentle cycle, and for me, that's a let yourself off the hook moment, which we can beat ourselves up so much. So if there's anything you take away today, perhaps look at the places where you need to let yourself off the hook.
Yes.
That's my message today.
I'm in a food sobriety program called Bright Line Eating, and it's led by Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson. And her thing that brought joy to my life is it's a bunny slipper day. Like, sometimes you just need to put your bunny slippers on and be okay with that. Like, you're not going to be on 24/7. It's okay. It's okay to fall off the cart.
Okay. I will come back to Naomi's comment though. So a couple weeks ago, I'm going to tell you, this is my bunny slipper moment. So a couple weeks ago, we were still ranting on Fridays, right? Mm-hmm. And in that rant that day, we just said, hey, we're changing it up. We're going to move to Wednesdays. And it was like the decision was just made like live on air. Right.
Yeah.
And we did that. Well, then the subsequent Fridays, like last Friday, it was like, oh my gosh, I have freed myself from any obligation. And not that this is an obligation in a negative sense of the word. I love doing this.
Yes.
But I was like, I had allowed myself to shift that obligation to another day that freed myself from any other obligation on Friday. And it was like my whole world was transformed. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And so that was a bunny slipper moment. Like, oh, I get to really engage in self-care, which is what I'm always preaching for people to do in a way that I had not been demonstrating as profoundly as I could have. And I'm so grateful that we've made this decision.
I know. Last Friday, I was like, what do I do now? Because it's so I actually have a day to just go, oh.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah. Naomi, we are bridges from the old paradigm into the new, as bridges require a firm foundation and an arc that connects one realm with another. Yes, for this reincarnated. You love that. We are heading towards great times, and uniqueness was the clarion call. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think too, I've said this before, people, let's just acknowledge there's a lot of fear that I am perceiving in the world around me.
Yeah.
And there's a dismantling of the form we once knew that I'm seeing in the world around me. And just as a reminder that the dismantling may be the requirement for the next incarnation of what is magnificent to shine forth and to be.
Yeah.
And so if there's any aspect of, and I'm not saying this, you just sparked this for me, Naomi, because I know the truth of your being. I know who you are. I know my interactions with you. I know that you're not on this side of the paradigm, but there are so many people who are on the side of the paradigm of living and rooted in that fear of the structures are failing and I don't know how to be moving forward in this new paradigm. And so the thing is, if we live in the state of faith that it will be, all is well, and it cannot be anything other than the dawning of a new day, I think we're going to find something glorious on the other side of all this seeming challenge. And I always use the word seeming to say the challenge is an erroneous idea. Challenge is an erroneous idea. And so we don't need to live within that consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being the bridge is a huge part of my ministry, literally. Our vision, or our mission statement, or whatever it is. Bridging hearts is number one. It comes first. Bridging hearts, awakening minds, and transforming lives. Bridging hearts has to come first.
Yeah. Swan, the Oscar Wilde quote rings true all the time. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Yes. Yeah. You know what? You can sort of see it right there.
And no one else is qualified.
Right. You can sort of see. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I know what I just did. There we go. Is it going to do the thing? I have an AI camera, and it does weird things sometimes. Come in. Whatever. This wooden thing that I have up here. It's a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. It says, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." It's my favorite Ralph Waldo Emerson quote.
Yeah.
And that is important. We must all be ourselves. Be ourselves.
Be yourself.
Yes. That was a gift, by the way, from my prayer chaplains here at Unity of Tucson when I was, nice. It was either when I got my doctorate or when I was originally ordained as a Unity minister. I can't remember. It was one of the two, but it's a beautiful thing that they were given to me. That was given to me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Church is the original chat room meeting place. Indeed it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
First chat room.
Yeah. The dismantling can be as small as changing of anything, a change of food habit or lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And like someone says today, I'm choosing vegan. Today, I'm going to choose vegan. And in that one choice and follow through will change the course of the environmental impact significantly. One person, if you are that person, like what can you change? What system can you change? Because of all this conversation about tariffs, I don't want to like go all political or anything, because I'm not. But in that discussion, there's now articles out that if every Canadian simply changed $25 a month going to a US product to a Canadian product, we would create 60,000 jobs. Just $25 a month. We think that because it looks so big, I can't change anything. Me, one little person. There is a seat that was won in this last election, won by 3 votes. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. Whatever it is, political or not political, anything that you put your mind to, you are shifting everything with your consciousness. With your consciousness, you are shifting everything. So how glorious it is we can change our mind about anything. We can take a first step and make an impact in our lives and the world.
Indeed. Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Such
We got
good
these nice fire icons. Here. Be yourself. Truer words hath not been spoken. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you don't know his essay on self-reliance, first of all, it's, it's a language wise, it's from a particular time. So some people have a challenge with the language, but if you are willing to engage with it, like, it's a beautiful essay. It's my favorite essay that he wrote, the essay on self-reliance. And so highly recommended.
Yeah. Maybe one rant when we don't have an idea or something, we'll just start reading Emerson essays and go, oh, let's translate this into English.
We could do that. We could do, so each sentence we could do a whole rant on, and we could do that one essay would, for week in and week out for at least a year.
Yeah.
That's how profound and beautiful that essay is.
Yeah. I find that too, even in like Ernest Holmes' writings. It's like this paragraph, we could talk on this paragraph for an hour for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so now what? How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
I say how everybody doing looking at comments, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing? Have you had a radically new thought in the last 40 minutes? 37 minutes? Let us know.
Let us know. I'm just trying to get my camera. There we go. My camera came back in. Yay.
Yay. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. We need my cat. Like, now that we're on Wednesdays, it's out of her sequence of events, I guess. So she wants to come into the gate, and it's so she's sitting over there crying. I don't know if you can hear her.
I can't hear her.
It's not as loud as the honk.
No. Yeah, it's why it's why it's important for me to do to engage in the rant from my office at Unity, because especially now with a 9-month-old golden retriever, he would be all over me, and it would be not.
Tell us more about that.
What? Literally, Steph, because I can still see her camera. She's literally gotten up from her seat and walked away. Pets are fur babies. They do sometimes have to take priority, and that's all good. Here she comes back. Here she comes back. Here, I'm putting you back. There we go. It's like,
especially when she's almost 17, and so when she wants something like food or love, you have to give it, or she just gets louder. And she knows how to pull the gate down, and that's even worse. So
I have a cat, Jimmy, that he's 14 years old. He is not happy that we brought a puppy into the house, which I get. It's like, this was my domain, and now what is this beast that you've brought into my space?
Yeah.
And so he's become quite the vocal. He's become quite vocal about his opinion about the dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and cats know, right? Cats are very special.
Yes.
They're superior beings in a lot.
Yeah. I love animals. For me, I'm an animal lover.
Yeah.
People are always like, are you a cat person or a dog person? I'm like, I'm an animal person.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, I love animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm missing an aquarium even. I had an aquarium, and I always feel so godlike, right? I'm just like, I'm responsible for the filter and the feedings, and I could watch my little neons swim about for a very long time back in the day. Had to release that on one of my moves, because I moved way too much and we were leaving the province. So carrying little fish across other provinces. I don't know.
Yeah. I had a fish when I first got my cats.
Yeah.
And it was not long before I did not have a fish. That's
Oh,
all I would say about that.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was sad to come home from work one day and realize that the cats had gotten into, anyway, that was 14 years ago almost. It was a sad day for me.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I thought my last dog was going to be my last dog.
Yeah.
And it was about 9 months in, and I looked over at the empty sofa and was like, I'm getting a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And the next week I had a puppy.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's over there too.
Yeah. So now we're talking about our pets. Is that radically affirmative new thought? I mean, yes.
Yes. Oh, Danny, no, that's not yours. And now the gate's open, so she's just gonna the puppy's now gonna do whatever she wants.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And the cat wants up. So yeah. So what's your talk gonna be about this Sunday for those wanting to check you out?
Oh, at Unity? Well, I did give it a talk title. And the funny thing is I don't remember what the talk title is now, but I will tell you. Talk title is Divine Shine Time.
Oh.
Yes. Well, first of all, it's Mother's Day, and many people have a challenge with Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
I get it, but I like to at least have an acknowledgement that it is Mother's Day.
Yeah.
But part of, as we continue this month of integrity, what is it to truly shine your light? Is really what the question is going to be. There's also Anna is singing a song that actually I think really inspired the message for me. And the song it's a Bob Seema song called It's Time. And so I'm excited about what I'm talking about, but that's about all I'm going to articulate for you, because if I tell you too much now and I don't speak about it in the way that you thought I was going to speak about it, then I've set up an expectation that was not met. And one of the things that I always remind myself of is one of the greatest lessons in ministerial studies was when my mentor told me that his mentor told him, never let the title of your talk get in the way of what needs to be said.
Yes.
And so I take my talk titles with a bit of a grain of salt. Like, I'm going to allow myself to say what needs to be said on a Sunday.
Say what you need to say. Musical cue day for me today too.
Yeah.
I get to do the talk at the Center for Spiritual Living Winnipeg this Sunday, and it is Mother's Day, and CSL has done annual themes. There's no mention of Mother's Day, so there was no foresight into that. But I mean, what better than to celebrate Mother's Day with a topic on boundaries?
Yeah.
So I get to talk about boundaries. No, Casey, no.
Yeah. I think,
and I love it. I can't wait. I've been it's already prepped. I usually wait to the day before to prep a talk, and I'm like, it's already prepped. I did it.
I feel like the title of the talk could be Mother May I?
I didn't choose the title either. Yeah. They base it on the themes.
Right.
And it is helpful. Because I speak there regularly, but I'm not a part of any planning or anything. Right. And then, here, talk about this. Okay. And so it's great. Because I love boundaries. Everybody keeps talking about, hey, you should teach a class on boundaries, please. And so here's a talk, and an upcoming class on the 4 agreements will help in us understanding ourselves and creating boundaries. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So a class on boundaries, I'm working on it for sure. So many people ask me about that, and it was a struggle for most of my life. I didn't have boundaries, or they were so minute. It was easy to walk past them for other people. And so it's only been in the last 5 years that I really, here are my boundaries, and it's helpful to have experiences and to have these experiences where you're like, oh, you know what? That's a line. This experience, I'm drawing a line. This is my new boundary. I did not appreciate that. This is how I want to be treated. Here's my boundary now. And so now, like, that's what we get to do when we know more about ourselves. We get to adjust where that line is. And the more we know about ourselves, the stronger our boundaries can be. And healthy boundaries make healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And healthy community. Yeah. I'm all for boundaries.
Yeah, me too. You made me think about, when we draw that line, remembering that we can redraw the line too.
Yeah.
That, we don't have to always be stuck in one way of being. And Charles Fillmore, everybody says this is a quote of Charles Fillmore. I mean, like, it could be a quote of anybody. I reserve the right to change my mind. Because without the possibility for changing our minds, we would be stuck in, And I don't want to be stuck in my life. And so sometimes we need to press against those boundaries as well. But it is important to, know what the edges are. And if you choose to push against those edges, what is the reason why you're pushing against those edges? To really have thoughtful consideration for that. So.
That just made me think of, those square things that have all the metal. And if whatever when you press into it, it forms on the other side.
Oh yeah, like the little pin.
It's little pins, and so like here's the imprint of my boundary. But if you can shake it and change it and start again, etch a sketch your boundaries.
Yeah, I feel like those pin things; those were very popular in like the 1980s.
Yeah,
like you would go to Spencer Gifts and get them. Did you have Spencer Gifts up in Canada?
I don't think so.
So I guess
it's a big country.
I guess that's a US thing. Spencer Gifts was like one of the mall stores, and it had like all kinds of crap that
we have Ardennes. We have things like that for sure. Yeah. Claire's
Boutique. It's where I got my ear pierced when I don't wear earrings any longer.
Yeah.
I did get my ears pierced when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Now Danny has gone downstairs and is crying because
why aren't you there?
Chewy, why aren't you coming down with me? And Chewy, the other dog, won't play. Like if he doesn't want to play, she's like, so cute. They're so cute.
Well, I'm definitely more relaxed now than I was an hour ago. Thanks to you both. Grateful to know that.
Yeah, grateful to know that. Yeah.
Even when we go on our little tangents about, mall stores and animals.
Because it's the sticky and the sweet, right?
Life. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My boundaries were stepped on and not respected. I have learned to say these are my non-negotiables much more effective. That's actually a really, well, I mean, that can be considered a boundary, but what are your non-negotiables? That is one thing that I think many people don't really consider. What are your non-negotiables in life?
Mine is I will no longer serve as a doormat.
Right.
That was my first, like that first line in the sand was like, I might be a welcome mat, but I'm not a doormat. Right. Like that was my first. Wow.
There was so when I was, there's a program that was developed by my mentor, James Mellon. He has a program called Mental Muscle. And I was there at the very beginning. I mean, we're talking almost 20 years ago that so I'll tell you, he walked into, I was the administrator for the church when I was in ministerial studies. He walked in on a Sunday morning and said, I'm going to announce this thing. It's called Mental Muscle. Just be ready to take registrations for it. I'm only taking 10 people. I was like, because as the administrator, you're like, Sunday morning, I was not prepared for this. Now all of a sudden I have a whole new thing to set up because you're going to make an announcement during the service. And anyway, but Mental Muscle has become a thing. Like it was an in-person thing and it became an online thing and it's been going on and on and on. And he wrote a book and then like it's been taught I've taught Mental Muscle sessions here at my own local community now that I'm a minister. But one of the weeks is really around the things we take personally. Yeah. And this is all a lead up to say, I'm actually quoted in the book where I say, I don't have to take things personally, but that also doesn't mean I have to take it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We so
Yeah.
like common courtesy is a gift. And there's like, yeah, just because I don't want to be I'm not a doormat. It also means
Right.
that I can still say, hey, I don't appreciate how you're speaking to me right now.
Right.
And that's okay.
I had to set up my non-negotiable with somebody recently. I have somebody who loves to send me emails that are rooted in a lot of the conspiracy theories that get proliferated in the electronic communication world. And I finally just went and said, listen, I appreciate that this is your point of view and that this is something that is important to you. I don't ascribe to the same frame of mind, and so please know that you do not need to send these to me any longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And gratefully, it was met with kindness, and they said, okay, I won't send it to you any longer. It was not contentious.
Yeah.
And so
it's important.
Yeah, but that's a non-negotiable for me. I'm like, unless you have verifiable information to share, please don't share that information.
Yeah. I was reminded many times, we teach people how to treat us.
Yes, we do.
That's like how we're treated. We teach people
Yeah.
what we're willing to accept, what we're not willing to accept. We teach people how to treat us. And I'm a way better teacher now. So much better. So much better.
So
thanks
great.
to this philosophy and this teaching and these books and these conversations.
Right. Well, when we treat ourselves with respect, then we can expect respect. We can expect respect from others.
Yes.
When we treat ourselves and we treat others with respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
beloved,
we're coming up on an hour. We did it.
Yay! I'm always delighted to share this time with you.
I love this time, this opportunity. I love the opportunity to connect with all of you watching. Definitely see right here. We have our email addresses right here. If you have thoughts, comments, topics, concepts you would like us to radically affirm up, please let us know. We love hearing from you.
Yeah.
We love it.
You are, here's the thing. You are the resource. You are the source of what we end up talking about each week. And so we welcome your thoughts so that we can be sourced and inspired by you. So thank you for inspiring us.
Yeah. You help me grow.
You do. You all help me grow.
Absolutely.
Steph, you help me grow.
And Jonathan, you help me grow.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yes.
So blessings to you all. We will see you next Wednesday, same time.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, same virtual space, wherever you're watching from. We will be back here next week. And until then,
love and blessings.
Yeah, bye.